Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another video. Quick disclaimer, just want to let you all know that because of how busted YouTube is as a platform and they're censoring their content across the platform, if you want to see these videos, feel free to sub and hit the bell, as it is the only way to receive videos in your feed. Now that that's out of the way, let's hop into today's video. And I leave for 2 weeks and come back to this absolute chaos. In the short time that I have left, there have been another 2 mass shootings, and our ignorant political parties are scapegoating video games again, excuse me. Now, if you've been with this channel for some time, you'll know I've made a video defending video games from gun violence a while back, but as new evidence continues to come to light, and as games continue to be targeted, I'll have to continue defending them. Now, I'm going to start off by saying I despise politics, but I'll have to get into just a bit of firearm politics, just a bit, to try and get people to understand the issue at hand. So first off, guns themselves, as far as I am concerned, are a bit too accessible at the moment, which is an issue whether you want to accept that or not. When an average citizen can purchase high-powered automatic weapons, I don't think that we can just rule out that concept. That said, I can understand the need for self-defense very well, as cops usually have certain priorities based on living conditions. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's fact. It is not surprising when cops show up faster in neighborhoods that are more prosperous compared to slums and ghettos. Not to mention, if you're living in the countryside, it can take cops hours to arrive. Of course, people would naturally want something to defend themselves, just in case cops took a bit too long to come and address the issue. So in my eyes, I can understand the need for them, but I can also understand why people want to get rid of them. Now, the issue once again is that people are stiff-necked and don't want to acknowledge that they could be wrong on both sides, left and right. It's just as it states, professing themselves to be wise, they became fools. Now, seeing as no one wants to give way here, and people on the left want guns banned, and people on the right want them to stay, politicians, using their usual strategy, developed a scapegoat. When we look at basic psychology, it's easy to see that what you do as a child is going to impact what you do as an adult, right? And in the past decades, video games have become the #1 hobby for adolescents. And as they progress, it's easy to see, even I, as someone who adores video games, can see that they have become a lot less kiddie over the years and more adult. But that's not all. They've become provocative, deep in story, as well as philosophy. But they aren't talking about all of that, are they? It's just the violence. You see, as games grew more mature, it's only natural that they could easily become something to blame for the ongoing violence consuming our world, which is what politicians do to sway people into electing them or getting a bill to pass. They target something, and they use that as a scapegoat and try to get people to agree that that's the issue so that they can regulate it for their own personal benefit. That said, I find it absolutely baffling how we can target video games all day, but we can ignore gore fests like the Saw series that people love and pretend as if that's not going to have any impact on people's minds. Heck, I've seen one of the most, in my eyes, disgusting and disturbing trailers for a new film coming out that is essentially promoting young minors to enter into sexual relationships with one another. And I'm not trying to get off topic, but these same people talking about what can impact you as a young individual are completely refusing to talk about these kinds of films affecting people when they're adults, you know? So these same politicians are attacking video games for the influence that they can have on someone, but they leave out Hollywood and music as well as other media as if that won't impact people at all. But I'll tell you what impacts people. Other people. When we look at most of these shootings, usually the motive was bullying, but of course this is left out by the lamestream media as they continue to push their agenda. Now, that isn't the case for all. I'm not going to even attempt to act like it is, but it's the case for most, okay? And most of the shooters were male in their late teens to early 20s and were usually bullied. So once again, this is the pattern that we're seeing. Video games are not the issue right now. The environment around the person, as well as the continued stress, is causing massive mental instability, which is leading them to do these heinous acts. People, I don't know what more I need to say to tell you that video games and gun violence are not the issue here. Like, video games do not relate, in my eyes, in any way to gun violence any more than the Saw series relates to mutilation for people going and, mutilating people. You see, the issue here is they do have a point. Whether we want to acknowledge it or not, in basic psychology, yes, what you do young is going to impact what you do as an adult. But they're also leaving out that it doesn't just stop there, is the point. Like, we have plenty of Hollywood movies promoting people to do weird stuff. Like, I recently just saw, like, a trailer, like I said, promoting young people, young minors, to be sexually active with each other. Not even 15, they're like 10 and 12. So they're completely leaving that out and the influence that can have on people. But they're making it seem as if video games are like, they have like some almighty influence on everyone compared to anything else. Excuse me, the chair's squeaky. But I cannot seem to get my head around this idea of continuing to target video games. But once again, it's just a usual political agenda. That's how they get people to vote for them. That's how they get elected. They get something, use it as a scapegoat, and they get people to all agree that someone needs to do something about that, and I'm the man to do the job, or I'm the woman to do the job, and that's how they get elected. Now, if you disagree, I'd love to know why you disagree in the comments. Like, this is a discussion channel, this is a podcast series, and hey, I'm more than welcome to hear you out. And like I said, guys, I'm not into politics, I despise politics, but I needed to get into gun politics just a bit. Now, I don't care where you are on both sides. I don't care what little cancerous politics you believe in or agree with or whatever. But in my eyes, we should both be able to understand why people would want them as well as why they wouldn't want them. Like, you can't sit around here and say that, oh, we should just not have firearms at all. No one should have firearms when that is, the best way to defend yourself from anything. It's a deterrent as well as self-defense. People who are living in countryside, like I said, like, cops aren't just gonna come like that. Heck, even in cities, like I just said, if you're in a part of the city that isn't doing too well in terms of economically, and it's usually considered a slum or a ghetto, cops take their sweet time. That's just a fact. They take their sweet time compared to how they would perceive a threat if it was coming from a neighborhood that's, very suburban, it's nice, it's doing well. So it's only natural that people would want something to defend themselves. Now, like I said, I'm not into politics, I'm not into gun violence. I don't care what your opinion is. Really, I don't. But the lamestream media, when I see these mass shootings, it's the usual, let's just promote it as a way to ban guns, and then we've got the politicians on the right saying, oh no, it's not the guns, it's video games, that's what it is. It's clearly the video games, and it's really, really, really beginning to irk me. I don't know how many times I'm going to need to make these videos defending video games, but hey, I will as I see need to, because this is getting out of hand in my eyes. Video games are not the problem. The environment around the person is the problem. When someone is continuing to get bullied or harassed or something day in and day out for years, heck, even just months of that harassment is going to take a toll on that person's sanity and their mental stability. It's only natural that after long periods of time, they're going to get fed up with it. Why do you think people commit suicide? They commit suicide because they are fed up with the environment around them. It is not a healthy environment for them, so they believe that the only escape is death. Now, the same case is true with these mass shootings. The environment around them is not healthy and suitable for their mental sanity, so they believe the only way is if I get rid of my problems permanently by killing these people who are harassing me. I'm not justifying it, I'm not defending them, but we have to understand a bit of psychology here if we're going to get down to the nitty-gritty when it comes to gun violence and mass shootings and how that correlates to video games. So I hope that you guys understood my point from this video. I do know that it was a bit lengthy, and I discussed a lot in it, and it's a lot to digest all at once. So just take time to like really consider it. Don't just take what I say at heart. Like, just really look into this yourself. Like, look into like the shooters, look into their backgrounds, and you will see a pattern. You will see a pattern. I'll tell you that much, because I certainly have. So look into it yourself, and like I said, tell me how you feel about this situation in the comments below. What's your stance on it, and why? I know that this is a bit different, and I didn't really want to come back to this, like not attacking, but having to defend video games again, but I guess that's what I get after my break, huh? As always, rate the video what you think it deserves. Tell me what you would like to see in the future in the comments below. Feel free to check out the amino. It will be linked in the comments. And I will see all of you in the next one. Take care.